This is just good. It's good because I want to share a few things on how best to win an election. Elections come and go, but when the election is over, the question that remains and lingers for many, or did you lose? Now, I want to dwell on how someone can win elections, especially the Kenyan situation. Elections are events, fine, but we have those people who consider elections to be a process. An election is a process. And because it's a process, a candidate needs to prepare themselves and they need to have a clear roadmap of what they need to do for them to win an election. Elections are not a matter of life and death. No. No one should die because of an election. The voter nor the candidate should not die. None should die because of an election. And I want to share with you how basically, or some of the things a candidate can do in order to win an election with a landslide. What can you do? I will not dwell on what you should not do. I want just to dwell on what we can do to win an election. Like today, people are preparing for elections in Kenya. What are they supposed to do? What should they do? Now, the first thing any candidate should do when they want to win an election is very simple. The first item they need is to have a story. They have to tell a story. You as a candidate, are you in a position to tell a story? Do you have a story yourself that you can tell? A story that people and the masses can identify with? A story which the people you have lived with, your age mates, and even those ones who bore you can identify with. Do you have a story? Yes. When you want to tell your story, there are many things that people should know when they want to tell their story. Someone will ask you, who are you? Who are you? Yes. Someone will ask you, you want to be elected. Who are you? What will you tell them who you are? Don't tell us that your father was and my mother was. Do you know my grandmother was? No, that's not a story. That is your grandmother's story. That is your mother's story. That's your father's story. Tell your own story. Who are you? Yes, begin by your name. I am so and so, son to so and so. I am here because I want to. I am here, and this is what I have been able to do. A profile. Have a profile of yourself, not your father's profile. The other day, another officer was telling us how his father was a friend to another father of somebody. It is not important. What's important, the person people should elect is not your father or your forefathers. You are the candidate. So tell them your story. What have you achieved? What have you done for people? What have you promised people and either delivered or not delivered? Yes. What do you want to do to the people? Most elective positions, you're going there to be an activist, as you may call it. You're going there to offer oversight. You're going there to represent. How are you going to represent these people? How are you going to offer legislation? How are you going to do your representation? You tell the people. You don't tell them, oh, my father was so and so. No. My mother, went to school with the grandfather of. It's not important. What is important is people want to listen to you. Have these things at your fingertips. What do you want to do to the people? Huh? And these things should be displayed. Let people know what you stand for. Yes. If you are fighting for human rights, say, I am a human rights fighter or activist. If you're development conscious, tell them that you want to do ABC for the youth, for the women, for the children, for the schools, for the economic, the business community, and all that. Tell them your story. What do you want to do for the people? What do you want to do for the people? What is your age? And which age bracket identify with you? If you're not appealing to the people, then it's going to be very difficult. Are people able to resonate with you? Be very careful. Now, the second thing that someone should always want to have is their political organization. When you want an elective post or position, basically you're doing politics. And when you're doing politics, you must be able to be in a political organization or even a political association. It doesn't matter. You must have a political party. So which is your political vehicle? When you don't want to talk about a political party, talk of a political vehicle, a special purpose vehicle. You must have heard people say that. Special purpose vehicle, SPV, special purpose vehicle. Today, as we speak, someone is crying with BBI, special purpose vehicle. Another one is crying with the Hustler Nation, special purpose vehicle. In the two arrangements, I don't see a political party, but I see a political association. BBI is a political association. The Hustler Nation is not a political party, it's a political association. So, in which political association are you as a candidate? Yes, we have political parties, but some political parties are just useless. So to speak, useless. In fact, today we are advising people to even vote for independent candidates. As long as they are candidates who have told their story and their story is credible, vote for them. It doesn't matter. It must not be, because you come from a majority party. No, it's not important. The political party is no longer going to matter. What will matter is the substance you tell the people. Whom are you associating yourselves with? That is one thing that people need to look at. So your strategy should be to identify the best political organization for you to use. It could be in the name of a political party, fine. Political association, fine. A movement, it's okay. Pick one and run with it. Be careful. Be careful when you're making these choices, because this is where people fail or win an election. So be sure to run on a movement or a political organization that is welcome in all parts of the country or the society or the community where you hail from. If the movement you're picking or the political organization you're picking is not welcome, it's going to be very difficult if you have not, for example, earned a name for yourself in the society. So it's good to do a few things here and there to ensure that you win the people's souls. So that's about a political organization. Choose a party, choose an organization, choose a movement, whichever that you will use it. The next aspect of strategizing yourself is packaging and branding. How are you packaging yourself? How are you branding yourself? Brand yourself as a candidate, as a formidable candidate. Be the person to beat. What do people know about you? Eh? If you take, for example, if you go to a market and you want to buy a product, what will you see first? You need to see the product package. So how are you packaging and branding yourself? So packaging and branding is very important if we want to win an election. Brand yourself, package yourself. Let people buy the brand. So what brand are you? Are you brand hustler? That's the current situation. Are you brand BBI? Which brand resonates with the masses? Eh? Are you brand handshake? So branding is very important, and it will enable you to win an election or lose. So the choice of your branding types is very important. There are people who brand and adorn themselves in t-shirts, well-colored and designed t-shirts. We have umbrellas out there, wristbands, headscarves, lassos, dressing. What have you? How are you packaging yourself? When people look around, do they see your brand? Do they see brand you? If they can't see you and you are not branded, if you're not branding your people, then you are not doing anything in politics. Brand yourself, package yourself so that you can sell. If you're not packaged, you will not sell. So go out there and brand yourself. Now, another political strategy that people forget sometimes, and I heard another fellow talk of hawa watoto wadogo, vijana wadogo ambao wana control the community. Let me tell you, today, if you are not with the millennials on the ground, you have lost before you begin. Target the youthful population of the community. If the youthful people are able to resonate with your ideas, if they can buy your brand, then you're on your way to winning an election. What do the young people say about you? Do they agree with what you're saying? If they do not agree with you, my friend, the old will also not agree with you. So ensure that you put the youthful population, because that is the determinants of the next generation, in your pocket, in your ballot box, so to speak. If you're able to convince the young people, the millennials, and the youthful community, who are the majority and who are the most active in the community, then you are on your way to winning your election. But if you leave the youthful population out, you ignore their plight, you ignore their tribulations, then you cannot succeed in politics, especially the African politics where we have more young people than the old. And the children even listen to the young people today because they identify with them. The young people know the problems in the community. Some old people do not know what the children and the young people are going through. So speak with the youth, the millennials. They are the determinants of the next generation, and they determine the leadership. They are the job seekers. Those at the university, those in colleges. They are the employed majority. What are you doing to them? What are you offering to them in your campaign manifesto? If you will not appeal to their souls, you have lost. You have lost. So speak to them. The unemployed majority, for example. What are you doing to them? What programs do you have for them? If you don't have any program for them, my friend, then there is just a you have just lost it. You have just lost it. Think about it and know how best you are going to fulfill their promises. Make credible and achievable promises if you want to win an election. Today, people are talking about how to mobilize the population so as to speak to them. So, how are you mobilizing people as your political strategy? How are you mobilizing people? We have people who use talent shows to attract masses so that they can speak with them. Today, people are using empowerment programs so that to bring people together to speak to them. Today, we have people who organize music concerts to gather people so as to speak to them. We have people who do mobilization for people to go and get identification cards. We have community sensitization programs. We have exhibits. How do you organize exhibits? How do you organize the masses maybe for clinics, free health services to the people? If you're able to do that, then the people will like you. They will come and you'll be able to speak to them. Yes. The other strategy you need to have is how are you passing your message to the people? How are you speaking to them? How do you plan to speak to the people? You know, the voter needs a message. If you do not give a message to your voter, the voter will not vote for you. They will not. Hey, they want to hear you, listen to you, believe you before they vote for you. So how are you going to make the voter believe you? How do you make the voter believe you? It's very important. Speak to them on radio. To them on television. Use the social media. Yes, use print media. Are you printing articles every now and then for the people to see, to read? Organize meetings, speak to them, woo them in whichever language you wish. Use the churches, use the church, and other gatherings, including rallies. But there is a struggle today as we speak. The Public Order Act has brought in a lot of insanity and bias. Insanity and bias. So how are we going to navigate through these draconian rules? How are you going to navigate through them? Where some groups are allowed to congregate and others are being denied opportunities. How are you going to survive? If the police deny you an opportunity to meet the people, what will you do? It's very interesting. Dictatorial types, very interesting. So it depends. Go to church, meet people at the funerals, organize harambes, which will be very, very uh, strict, especially with the COVID protocols. You have to be very careful. So, are you able to secure a permit for your meeting? If not, what will you do? Will you move from house to house? It's very tedious. It's not easy to move from house to house. However, you need a strategy. How do you pass your message to the people? How do you pass the message to the people? And when you pass the message to the people, you need to be aware that you should have your priorities right. What are your priorities? What are you telling the people? What are you saying you'll do to the people? What is the priority? Is your priority to borrow money to develop industries so as to employ them? What's your priority? Is it your priority to empower people immediately, like give them wheelbarrows and mkokoteni? Or will you wait to borrow money from the World Bank and the other lending organizations so as to develop industries and create jobs for them, jobs that will come after 10 years or 5 years? So, in short, you need to have immediate and long term, short term and long term targets when it comes to solving the problems of the people. What is your short term solution? And what's your long term solutions? Very important. Some people talk of the long term. Long term, yes, but when will the long term come? I'd rather you do the immediate ones as you wait for the long term strategies to come. Because a person who is hungry today is not likely to sleep hungry for the next 3 months as they wait for the long term solution. They have to feed now. They have to take their children to school today. What are you doing to them? What is your immediate solution? Give them a meal as you wait to find an opportunity for them to go and do fishing. Feed them first before you make them to go to fish. That way you'll win their souls. But if you promise them promises that may not even come, you will lose. The other thing you need to do as a politician, you need to study the political landscape. What is the political landscape of the area you hail from? What are people saying? Huh? On which side are the people? You cannot work against the grain. It will be too much for you. Never try to work against the grain. If you work against the grain, you'll have it rough. You'll find it rough. Just walk along with the tide, with the current, swim in the current, and things will be very easy for you. But if you swim against the current, my friend, the current will sweep you along. So be strategic. Know where the current is leading you and swim in that direction. Either way, you will win. If you swim up the stream, my friend, it will be an uphill task and you'll sweat to the teeth. You'll sweat to the teeth. Even if you fight tooth and nail, you'll sweat to the teeth, I'm telling you. So you need to be aware of the local politics. And you must always know that politics is just local. Let no one cheat you. Politics is local. Do local politics. What do the local people say? What do they want? Don't play national politics and the local politics is different. Don't go against the grain. Unless the national politics is the one that is dictating the local politics of the place where you are, that's the only way you can do national politics. If not, please do local politics, because politics is local. What do the people on the ground say? What do they want on the ground? Hapo kwa ground unajua vitu ni different. Kwa ground vitu ni different. So be on the ground. Don't be up there and forget the people on the ground who are your voters, direct voters. Direct voters. If they say this is what we want, please be there. If you don't, they'll put you aside. They'll put you aside. So as you have the political landscape with you, so how do you do field organization? How do you organize your troops on the field? This is now where the rubber meets the road. Yes, hapo kwa ground mashinani. Hapo kwa ground mashinani. The rubber meets the road. Hapo ndio kinaumana sasa. How are your troops on the ground? Do you have every part of your area of jurisdiction taken care of? Do you have coordinators and representatives in every village, at every polling station? Do you have a representative in every home? Let's go down there. Yes, every home. You know, some homes have 10 voters, others have 5 voters. Do you have a representative in every home? If you have a representative, a powerful, influential representative in every home, then you are out to win an election. But if you don't have representatives down to the homes, to the families, you're bound to lose. If you want to win, have representatives in every church, every school, every village, every cultural deep committee, every mama kiosk chama, every market, every ward, every sub county, every region, you know, every county, all the way to the nation if you're doing national politics. If you don't have such, forget. So how? It's not going to be easy. The next crucial thing as someone who's going for an elective post is you must know your dummy competitor. Who is your dummy competitor? How have you analyzed your dummy competitor? And your dummy competitor is a competitor you presume to be the toughest of all. So who is your dummy competitor? An imaginary giant, so to speak. Know them by their name. Dummy competitor. Who is your most challenger? Toughest. Know how resourced they are. They have money. If they have money, you should also be moneyed. How rough are they? So if they are rough, become rougher. If they're moneyed, look for more money. If they're eloquent, be grandiloquent. Grandiloquent. If they're eloquent, be grandiloquent. If they're convincing, be more than convincing. Yes. If they're friendly to people, be just another angel. If they have given promises, promise more than they have done. If they are youthful, become even younger. I don't know how. I saw an old man in Kisi trying to say Vijana tuko, yet he is over 70. So if they are youthful, be younger. If they are known, make yourself known. Don't wait to be elected for you to be known. Be known. Do everything humanly possible to make yourself known. Even if it means drinking and eating a few gansters of tear gas, go ahead. Go ahead. Sit on the local roads if you must. Let the tear gas come and let word go round that, yes, something happened today. Command a following. If you cannot command a following, then forget. You know, I was telling one of my friends, if you start at a local market and people do not come where you are, then you have failed an election. If you want to know that you're going to win an election, when you step at a local market, let everything come to a standstill, and you will know that people want you or people know you and they appreciate you. If your competitor comes and people run away from you, they know that you're not going to win that election. Instead, go to a market, go to a place and let people vacate, abandon, desert the competitor and come to where you are. Then you will know that you're going to win that election. So, are you able to pull a crowd more than your competitor? That's the question. So, if you are not known, get known. Otherwise, your name will not fit in the ballot. You should be known to the extent of your name fitting in the ballot. Fit in the ballot, which means the votes must be more than your opponents. If your competitor has more associates, multiply them. Doesn't matter how you fight them. win them, buy them, borrow them, as long as you have associates, as long as you have loyalties. It doesn't matter. The end justifies the means. The end justifies the means. Huh? So how do we beat such competitors? And how to beat them, I have just told you. How do you beat them? You must be thinking, how do you beat your dummy, toughest competitor? Imaginary or present, it doesn't matter. So once you have identified your dummy competitor and where your dummy competitor is getting the votes, go down to look for votes yourself. How do you target for these votes? How do you target the voters? Where do you find them? Are you going to go by the age bracket, the youthful ones, the old? Are you going to look for them by gender, the women and the men? Are you going to find them in their professions? Are you going to find the farmers? It's very important. So map out your constituency, map out your wards, map out the country, map out the county, and know the areas you need to dwell on most. If it's countrywide, dwell on communities. Go to Coast, one region, Nyanza, one region, Western, Kisii, Nyamira, Rift Valley, Upper Rift, North Rift, South Rift. You know your regions, map them out, know where you have got support, know where you need to spend more resources. If it's northeastern, please go there as many times as you can, more than the other area where you think you have got some votes. Yes, and most importantly, know your home ground. How is your home ground? Do you have those pocket votes? Do you have the home ground votes in your pocket? Do you have home ground pocket votes? And where is your sphere of influence? Is there an area you have influenced? Unasikia someone's bedroom. In Kenya, you hear of Baba's bedroom. You hear of the hustler's bedroom, the Jubilee bedroom, Uhuru's bedroom, William Ruto bedroom, Wetangula's bedroom, Lots of Joker's bedroom. Where is your sphere of influence? If you're going for a presidential election, ensure every part of the country is your sphere of influence. Every country. That way you will win votes. If you're a candidate, you go to Nyanza and people say hallelujah. You go to Western, they say amen. You go to Nyanza, they say to Kisii, they say bring that gospel again. You go to Rift Valley, they say come another time. You go to Mount Kenya, they say hallelujah. You only go to Coast, they are just singing your slogans and singing your name. You have one. But if you only have one pocket region, they'll call you a tribal leader. You shouldn't be a tribal leader. A leader, national leader, should be cut across. Cut across. Today, they are talking of neutralizing the tribes by using the hustler nation. So everyone in every tribe has now become a hustler. Doesn't matter whether you're Kalenjin, Luya, Bukusu, Pokot, Turkana. It doesn't matter. Hustler, hustler, hustler. Hustler, hustler, hustler. And the other one is joining us, joining the masses using the BBI. They are saying BBI, cutting across the tribes. So we are doing away with tribal politics. So any candidate who is worth their salt must appeal to all communities, all regions of the country. So no pocket votes. No pocket votes. Some regions people import votes. If you're going to import, be very careful how you do it. How you do it? What about the voting trends of the place where you are? Voting trends. How do the people vote? Are you going to change the trend, the voting trend of the people you're talking about? You need to be very careful. The other thing today, which you cannot run away from as a politician, is the digital tool. Digital technology, technology, the mobile phones, the computers. How are you using the digital tool? How best are you employing the ICT? How best are you using communication equipment to appeal to the people, to communicate to the people, to reach as many people as you can, even when you are not there? Today, we are talking of live streams. People are streaming live. Every meeting, they are holding a meeting in Kisi and you watch it in Turkana. Streaming live. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, name them, TikTok, Instagram, all of them. Use them, multiply them. Google and Meet, Zoom and Meet, WhatsApp, Facebook. As long as you're communicating, keep communicating. And the youths are very good at this. Some of them have become keyboard masters. Empower them. Give them mobile phones and communication gadgets, electronic communication online gadgets. Tell your brand. If you can't go digital, forget. Forget. Now, this other bit that I'm going to speak to is very crucial. You could have done all the others, but you need resources. You need resources. My friend, to go for an elective political seat, you need resources. First thing, you need human resource. Do you have people to work for you? Do you have people to work with you? The human resource. You must have people. If people are not coming your way, or people are running away from you, you're losing human resource, then you will not win an election. Ensure people are able to run to your side for you to win resources. Recently, when people are moving away from one candidate, Musalia, to join Ruto's team, people tried to laugh it off. But it's very crucial. Human resource. The human resource. The more human resources you have, the higher you stand by chance. The high chance you stand. You need money, you need digital tools, you need public address systems, communication systems, you need the machinery, all those machines, mobility. People have to move in vehicles. Gasless, if you must have gasless. If you have the gasless, if you have the choppers, then you will do more campaigns per day. You will move to more places per day than someone who is walking on foot. So are you able to move around? Do you have the resources to move around? Do you have money? Do you have louder speakers that can go miles away? Do you have the security personnel? Security is very important. Security, personal, government, it doesn't matter. Have security. Finally, the approach to tackle. How is your approach? Are you going to approach these people as a united front? Because they say, united we conquer, united we succeed, divided we fall. You as a candidate, are you going to make sure that your team remains united up to the end? Are you going to ensure that you speak the same language? Are you going to ensure that you read from the same script? And are your teams aggressive enough? The tackle, you must be aggressive. If you are not aggressive, if your teams will leave it upon you, then you will not succeed. Your teams must fight the same fight. Doesn't matter about the size of the dog. It's the fight in the dog that matters, not the size of the dog. So how is the fight in your dogs? Think about it. And how organized is your team? Is your team receiving a command from the top to the bottom? Is there a command center? If you do not have a command center as a candidate, forget. Working as a team is a pillar. That's the bottom line. Do you have a team? And is your team working harmoniously? Do they share the dreams? Do they share the goals? If not, you're bound to lose. So be the team manager, manage your teams, and have a proper structure from the top to the bottom, from the top to the grassroots, to the polling station, to the village, so that when a command comes from the nation to the county, to the sub-county, to the ward, to the polling station, and then to the villages. That way you will have commanded your teams well and you will be with the winning strategy. So, what am I saying? Before you engage yourself into these political elections or any other election anywhere, ensure that you're well organized, put your teams in place, have resources, and you'll be ready to go out there and explore. That way, winning will be on your side, victory will be on your side. Thank you for listening to me. Wonderful. So go out there and win your elections. Yes, support, supporting. The ball is in your court.